All right, Pradeep, thank you for the introduction. Again, my name is Johnny Girardi. I'm DataSelf's founder and CEO. I'm a big data geek. I was a software engineer in my early career. Then I became a business person. And for the past 20 plus years, I've been focusing in solving two main problems. The first one is decision makers. They know they have their data in their digital systems, like in Sage, ERP, and CRM, and other systems. But decision makers are frustrated that many times they try to get actionable, timely insight from that data, and they can't. They just can't. They have to call someone else to create reports and dashboards. So why these decision makers can't be more independent? So that's the first problem that I've been solving for 20 years. The second problem is the people who usually do build reports and dashboards, the business analysts, the BI people, the consultants. These people usually they have what I call clunky reporting tools that are hard to maintain, run very slowly, and then they're working always a lot to keep up with the decision makers. So what I'll do today in this presentation primarily is, let me take my webcam out of the way so we can focus on the content, is go through, how to fast track your business intelligence with DataSelf. My first section will be educational, just talk about business intelligence in what we call BI-based reporting and how helpful that concept is. And then once I cover some content, then I'll show specifically how DataSelf makes that even better. So we'll talk about some informed decisions and challenges. We go through a demo. We'll talk about ERP versus BI-based reporting, and then we'll talk about the DataSelf analytics solution. So main decision maker challenges when they're trying to get their insights out of the ERP system. Quite often it's just slow. They want to see some KPIs, some metrics, and too often when they actually get the hang of that information, it's too late. It's sometimes weeks later, or they're always looking at the rear view mirror. So that's a very common complaint of decision makers. I have the data. Why can't I see the data, the insights when I need it, anytime, anywhere? Second is, they can make changes quite often. They have to call the experts to slice and dice their data. So those are the main complaints of decision makers trying to get timely insights of their reporting solutions. Business analysts, the people supporting decision makers, reporting is usually pretty time consuming. People spend hours and hours and hours to maintain and distribute reports. It's repetitive. They're always working the same thing over and over and over. It's a waste of human capacity to be doing repetitive tasks. And finally, too often slow. Running reports directly out of regular tools can take seconds, minutes, and hours, and sometimes that's too slow for what people need. And the main reason is because what we call the standard reporting, the ERP reporting, the Excels and whatnot, is focused in operational reporting, what we call transaction-based reporting, what you're doing today. So typically you're looking at small data set in your ERP database. And then if you're looking only at small data set, things work well. But when management is trying to see trends across customers, regions, salespeople, GL accounts, across a lot of data, across tables, things get complicated. And that's where usually the challenges are. The reporting tools, like Excel and built-in, they work only well with small data sets. When you have large data sets, when you have multiple systems, and you try to hit the raw data, it's not optimized, it's not clean, it's not aggregated, and everything is, is hard. So limited insights, hard to design, few metrics, slow to execute. Those are the main challenges that people complain from the built-in reporting solutions for management decision. The solution to this is what we call BI-based reporting or business intelligence-based reporting. And primarily at the end of the day, when you do have a properly deployed, powerful BI-based reporting, decision makers will be able to get their KPIs at the right time, at the right place. It's fast. And decision makers will be able to easily do ad hoc analysis, slice and dice your data without calling anyone else. So really empowering for decision makers. In business analysts, they'll have an easy yet powerful reporting platform to really automate as much as possible the mechanical things of reporting and have alerts notifying them when something doesn't work as expected. So it's kind of, you don't need to be, babysitting. The system just does the work. And if something goes wrong, someone change a credential, the system should let you know what's wrong. And overall, reports should run in seconds. No matter how much data you have, when you press, show me the data should show in seconds, not in minutes, hours, or days. So let's take a quick look, how BI-based reporting works for end users. So I just want to show the user experience, assuming you already have BI-based reporting. So let me go straight into the user interface of BI-based reporting. Let me just reload. And I'm going to show three different ways that decision makers see power and become more independent with BI-based reporting. The first one is just the ability to do ad hoc analysis, meaning I have a question that I don't have answer yet in a report, and I want to be able to find it without calling someone else. So I'm going to track this angle first using two examples. The first example is what we call the slicer. The slicer is a kind of report that you can see on a web browser, you can see on a mobile device. You can have this framework inside of your ERP. If you have Sage, Sage Intacct, Sage 300, Sage X3, it doesn't matter where you are. Inside of the ERP or outside of the ERP, you can have your users go to the slicer, they log into the system, they will be able to see the information they have rights to. So if I'm a salesperson, I see sales related, I cannot see payroll, for instance, but the accounting people can see payroll. So, security controls who can see what. But if I'm a salesperson and I want to slice and dice my sales, you just use the slicers. Let's say I want to see sales by salesperson. I just come over here and I select the periods that I want to see my sales by salesperson. So very straightforward to select the periods. And then you choose the salesperson. This list here is pre-configured and it's easy to customize it, add more parameters, add optional fields, very simple. The point is, once the slicer is customized to your specific business needs, as a business person, I select salesperson, and there it is, that report that was before a customer report now becomes sales by salesperson in whatever period that I selected in the totals. All right, what if I want to break down by salesperson by item? I can click the plus signal to go to the next breakdown, and now I already have item pre-selected, so cool. Sales by salesperson by item, subtotals and totals. And if you want to break it down further, you can just keep on drilling down and just picking the next dimension. In this case, I'm going to choose, let's say, customer. So by pretty much expanding and pointing and clicking, you can quickly change the report dramatically and even choose different measures. Looking sales. What if I want to see sales and quantity sold? You just pick and choose what you want to see and press apply and you get the answer. The slicer is an amazingly powerful reporting framework that will allow decision makers with little training. Sometimes that's it. You just see a 2-3 minute introduction, and many decision makers will be able to create lots of reports, answer a lot of questions without calling consultants and experts because it's so straightforward. It's like Excel pivot table on steroids, always refreshed, always available. You're running seconds, no matter how much data you have. Very powerful. So this is one example. The next example that I want to show for ad hoc analysis is called the natural language query, which is pretty much the chat GPT kind of artificial intelligence that is going out there. You type in English a question, and the solution will give you the answer. In this case, the answer is going to be an insight into your data. So let me see sales by sales person in 2022. I just wrote in plain English like I would do in Google or ChatGPT. I press enter, and the tool using artificial intelligence machine learning will give it the answer. So right now, by salesperson is showing sales in that particular period in a descending order. Not magic, technology, AI helping you get the answers. If you want to break down by month, you just type in by month, and then you press enter. And now the tool spins the answer. In this case, for every salesperson, it's giving me a line chart using different colors that shows sales, by salesperson in the month that I selected. And maybe, I don't like line charts. I want to see a different representation. Like, just show me numbers like in Excel. You click text table, and now you see the report as a text table. And you can export this to Excel in a couple of other clicks. So the point is, these two frameworks, the slicer and the natural language query functionality, will give decision makers much more power to slice and dice their data to find questions that usually would require calling a consultant, expert, explaining what they want, waiting, and then at every interaction is usually hours or days to get things done. So this is one of the values of BI-based reporting. The next one is actually the dashboard functionality. Everyone offers dashboard, yes, but most other solutions, they provide rigid, static, not very helpful dashboards. And let me show how a dashboard can be really helpful for decision makers. When a decision maker looks at a dashboard like this, which is kind of busy, I'm looking at here in a certain period. I'm looking at my year-over-year variances, the total this year, the total last year, the variance in percentage and dollar amount, dark blue this year, light blue last year. I see a breakdown by period. I see a breakdown by territory, by customer, and by item. Again, last year, this year, and variance specifically for the period that I selected, like year to date. So kind of dashboard, yada, 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 everyone has it. But when a decision maker looks at the reported dashboard, they're usually looking for the outliers. Something really good, something really bad, and why that's happening, and being able to drill down and drill across and until they uncover why the outlier is really good or really bad. Let me show an example. Suppose that when I'm looking at this dashboard, I look to Texas, and Texas is having a growth of 12% year over year. Wow, I love it, amazing, we're growing so much. I want to learn more about Texas because it's the biggest bubble, right? My biggest business. When I click in Texas, automatically the whole dashboard changes to only show Texas information, total in Texas, trend analysis, customers, and items. So at one click, I narrow to Texas. Now, when I look at this dashboard, and I look at the customers, even though the total business is growing by 12%, I have a customer with a major decline. And this was completely not known until I drilled down into the details. And like, oh my God, what happened with this customer? Now I click on this customer, and the whole dashboard changes again, or filters. It's only showing in Texas for this customer, the totals, the trend analysis, and the details. And maybe now in the details, I see a bunch of items that are declining a lot, and I want to see more details. So in this case, I'm going to select the top 3 items by sales decline, and I'm filtering the whole dashboard only for that perspective. And maybe now I want to see, the details. Show me the invoices, the dates, the quantities, all the details. And then at the bottom, I see all the details. The ability to start at the high level, looking at the big numbers, seeing outliers, and start to drill down and drill across until you uncover the real reason behind the outliers. This is really the power that dashboard can give decision makers to become more self-sufficient. And as I showed you here, you don't need to be a consultant. You don't need to have hours and hours of training to do this. This BI-based reporting is really focused on letting decision makers become more independent. Today, I'm not going to show the back end, the part of the business consultant, how the business analyst, how it works. I focus primarily on the user experience. And I want to show you now what's happening behind the scenes and how this actually happens. So let me just. So why this is so powerful, why this helps so much decision makers and business analysts, is because you leverage what is called business intelligence-based reporting. In BI-based reporting leverages a data warehouse. Lots of reporting problems, the KPIs being complex to calculate, too much data, too many tables. Lots of those issues is because you're hitting your reports directly out of your ERP database, and that's not going to work well no matter what you do. When you add a data warehouse, you're bringing the data from the ERP into a separate database, and you optimize that data for reporting purposes. You calculate your KPIs, you define your single version of truth, you maximize the speed, and then you can use analytics tools like Excel, Tableau, Power BI, Click, whatever it is, and then leveraging the data warehouse in these proper tools, you'll give decision makers speed, you'll give business analysts an amazing platform for them to do their magic. At the end of the day, the BI-based reporting extends the focus of reporting to be strategic, predictive, and performance-based. And that's what management wants. They want strategic analysis. They want to be able to, the tool to tell what might happen in the future and be fast and focus on the performance of the business. Make a long story short, traditional reporting shows what you're doing today, pretty much is good for things that are happening right now, while BI-based reporting is how you're doing. Staff needs to know what's happening right now. Management needs to know how the company is doing and where they should focus energy to be more productive. So that's the main difference between the two technologies. What about DataSelf? I mean, everything that I mentioned so far is BI-based reporting. You guys can go out there and find vendors and try to put together and come up with your own BI-based reporting. Now, DataSelf, for over 20 years, for about 20 years, we've been focusing providing BI-based reporting for companies using mid-size ERP systems like Sage systems, Salesforce.com, other ERPs and Google Analytics and whatnot. How do we help you fast-track business intelligence? So let's go about that. You have two options. One option is, do you just need a data warehouse? Maybe you already have the tools, you're already doing a bunch of things well, but you're still struggling, and the data warehouse is the only piece that needs to be added to your system to solve many problems. If that's the case, then primarily we add what is called the DataSelf ETL, which is a Microsoft SQL Server data warehousing that makes data warehousing significantly easier, significantly faster, no matter what your source systems are, to get data into a SQL Server data warehouse. It extracts, transforms, loads. You don't need to know any programming. You can do things very fast. And then you can use different analytics tools to report out of the data warehouse. So if data warehousing is the only thing you need to know, we have an amazing solution. Talk with Bas, talk with us, and we can tell you how ETL Plus will make your data warehousing significantly easier and faster. Now, option two, you don't have time to build your BI-based reporting from scratch. Well, we have what we call DataSelf Analytics, which is a full-blown solution that deploys really fast, and it has all the components required to deliver BI-based reporting. So, so in this screen, we have a little bit of the diagram of how it works. We have the data warehousing solution, which is what I just talked about, with ETL Plus, a SQL Server, plug and play out of the box, get your Sage data into a cloud-based data warehousing and refresh automatically. We support the top analytics tools, Tableau, Power BI, and Excel. If you want to work with any of these tools, we have amazing connectors and templates that can make the BI-based solution running pretty much in about a day. And out of the box, depending on your ERP system and CRM, we have an extensive library of KPIs covering AP, covering AR, covering GL, sales order. And the idea is pretty much on day one, this whole system is deployed. You have a data warehouse ready to go. You have your data in Tableau, Power BI, and Excel, and lots of reports and dashboards ready to run. So that's the second option, using BI-based reporting, pretty much deployed in a single day. From a pricing standpoint, our pricing is very affordable. Typically for a few $100s to a few $1,000s per month, you can get either data warehousing or the whole DataSelf Analytics up and running. And then, it doesn't break the bank, but it brings power for you and your team to be more independent and more automated when it comes to the decision-making system. And with that, I'm going to open for questions and answers. We have 5 minutes to cover now. Let me see. If you have questions, you can use the chat box to ask questions. I see some questions over here. The first question is, how much training does it take to support DataSelf? Good question. It varies. We have some clients that they required 0 training. You know, our technology is pretty industry standard. If you have people that know some SQL, some Tableau, Excel, Power BI kind of things, what we do is we just make it significantly easier to get BI-based reporting done. So we have a small number of clients that require 0 training, 0 support. They got our tools and they just ran with it. Most clients will require some training. Training report design, again, many clients that need no training, but usually report design, we have the main class that is 12 hours online training. And with that, you can do a lot of custom reporting on the web report designer. And we have some clients that don't have expertise and they want to learn everything about data warehousing, everything about, you know, BI-based reporting, and then the training is customized to their specific needs, where their people are, what they need to do, and then we custom, you know, design the training. But training can be from 0 to many, many hours, depending on where your team is and in your expertise. I hope you answered your question. And if you have more questions about training, we can go specifically around your business needs, understanding what kind of resource you have today, and tailor the training around that in case the regular training is you know, you need more than the regular training. All right. Second question that I see here is, I have some Sage reports that take longer than 5 minutes to run. We only run them overnight. Can your solution reduce that time? Okay. Time to run reports. I think what you're talking about is when you press the refresh button on your reporting tool, it takes longer than 5 minutes. And if you're running overnight, it's probably, if you press that button and during business hours, you're slowing down your Sage system, which is a fairly common complaint we hear. And that's because you're hitting the Sage database live when you press the refresh button. With DataSelf, we move the data from Sage into a separate database, the data warehouse. This process is done very efficiently and automatically, and usually it's very light on Sage resources. You know, Sage will not even tell that the DataSelf system is mirroring the data into the data warehouse. And then when you run a DataSelf report against a data warehouse, our benchmark is 10 seconds. Reports in DataSelf must run under 10 seconds. If a report is taking more than 10 seconds, usually call the experts, because maybe there's some security dials that we need to turn to run more efficiently. But yes, we definitely can solve this problem, and usually the report will run very, very fast, and you're not going to slow down your system. There's one more question I want to answer here, and then I'll wrap it, is how do you compare DataSelf with the other Sage BI offers? Good question. I think, you know, we definitely need like a one-on-one discussion to go into the weeds. But at the end of the day, high level is the DataSelf platform is not a black box. It uses industry standard technology that usually Fortune 2000 companies take advantage of. You know, if you go to a very large company and you look at what they use, is the same foundation as DataSelf, so it's very powerful. Yet we have made that kind of technology affordable and very easy to use, and that's the main difference. You know, we have, you know, a more enterprise-grade kind of technology because we're using Fortune 2000 engine. Our pricing doesn't break the bank. It's more expensive than the other folks a little bit, but it doesn't break the bank. But it's easy and fast and deliver amazing value.